are entering the 17th year of the United States War on Terror. It is necessary to take stock of where our troops are located and for what purpose. With that being said, should the U.S. end its overseas military operations? Many people will argue with you that we need to pull our troops out and bring them home. I used to be one of them. But after talking with my brother, he is active at Air Force, and getting his input on what he believes should be done, he said that, and this is his quote, I talked to him yesterday, that after he has been to 3 tours, he's been to Iraq twice, Afghanistan once, and he says that we, the U.S., have sent our troops in, dismantled other governments and militaries to serve our own needs. For example, when the U.S. ended its major operations in Iraq and stopped supporting their government was when a few years later that ISIS was formed. And then that just created a whole new mess of different attacks and that was caused from it. With him, he has been stationed in Afghanistan, was probably the worst one that he did, and he saw the most war in Afghanistan. Iraq, he was kind of just in the background and got to bring in the transportation vehicles and he did the shipping in and out, so he didn't see much. But in Afghanistan, he saw more war. But for him saying how important it was for us to have our troops in there, that if we were to pull them out, we could stop our trade, we could end our oil that we get, so it can really affect our economy overall, and also start up a lot more activists that could attack us more. So that could hurt us more than anything. In my research, I found that if the U.S. ended its military operations overseas, that 1,388,000 and about 28 people, and that's an estimate, and that's been about 2016, would lose their jobs. Also in the U.S., if they would lose their jobs, we would not be spending the money that we normally would spend for our troops, and the money would not be coming in, so we would actually go into probably another Great Depression, and that could hurt our economy also as well. Our active military presence overseas right now is actually the smallest that it has been in over 60 years, but we're still hitting about 165,000 soldiers in 150 countries. And those 150 countries are countries that depend on us to help them run their government. And that's why our military is over there. They don't have the power, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the technology that they need to keep themselves going and afloat. So we have the power, the military, the technology, the weapons that they don't have, and we can show them how to use them and how to protect themselves and get a little bit more. This graph right here that I have, this is the one that I actually find interesting, and I know it tells you where our military personnel are, and the place that we have most of our military is in Japan right now, and of course that's one of the highest, the most what's the highest? It's probably the most dangerous that we send to. And in fact, my brother's orders right now are standing that he could actually go to Japan. He's stationed right now in Red Hat, so he's just waiting to get the call. Hopefully, they told him he's not going to have to, and that would be his 4th tour. But to get a glimpse of how we've helped other, how our involvement went over the seas in the past few years. Actually, I go back to 1961 Vietnam War. That was probably the biggest one that everybody's more knowledgeable about. We lost so many lives over there, but we also helped a lot with what we sent over. Could have been a lot worse. 1962 was the Cuban Missile Crisis. 1990, 1991, we confronted Iraq after it invaded Kuwait in the fight over oil riches, and then the U.S. forced Iraq to withdraw after a short ground war. So we took over that and kind of kicked Iraq out. The U.S. launched a war against Afghanistan, which was what, how do I want to say this? It launched this war in Afghanistan to fight Islamic insurgents in response to the Al-Qaeda attacks on the U.S. on 9/11. That was a major start to why we have a lot of over there, because we were trying to defend ourselves when they attacked us on 9/11. The U.S. invaded Iraq on the premises in 2003 with premises that the weapons of mass destruction could be used against the U.S. We did that to take down their weapons, which again kind of benefited us because we were protecting ourselves also. And our our presence is really important, even though we may not think it's so. Our military is so much more advanced that we have the technology and resources, like I said, that keeps us one step ahead of the poor countries, and they depend on us for that protection. In conclusion, the U.S. intervention overseas is never ideal but rarely uncomplicated. But the alternatives could potentially be worse. If you had the job and were facing the current threats from foreign countries, what would you do? Through here.